Okay, so we will not see T'Challa in the 616 Marvel Universe. Okay? That's what Nate Moore, who was one of the producers in Marvel, he had stated when he was on the Van Lathan's podcast on The Ringer. And the thing about it is, I kind of figured that, because what I took from what he said was is that, well, because they asked him, are they going to recast T'Challa and stuff? And he said that character, T'Challa, will not reappear in the 616 universe. Okay, so you know what that means for me? Guess what? Right now we're in a situation with all the Marvel where they are you have you have multiple timelines crossing each other. If you recently checked out this new Spider-Man No Way Home trailer, you can see that for yourself. And if you watch shows like Loki, you can see what's going on. You got Kane the Conqueror, who's all about time traveling. We got the Ant-Man and the Wasp in the Quantum Realm, that's gonna be time traveling. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse, that's gonna be with different time traveling cross universes and stuff like that. So here's what I believe is gonna happen. Here's what I think what they're gonna do. Okay, I don't think we're going to be in a situation where they're going to pull a T'Challa from a different universe, but I think what they will do is they'll probably pull a Black Panther that's in a different timeline or whatever, may end up joining this 616 timeline. Now I understand everybody's being technical. Technically, this timeline is not the 616, but let's say for right now it's called the 616 because I don't remember the other name for it. If you do know the name of it, what it actually is for the movie universe, please drop it below. But right now I'm going to just call it 616 so that way you can follow where I'm clearly going with this, all right? So check this out. All right. I think what they're going to do is they're going to bring a Black Panther that's like in one of the other timelines. I think somehow his timeline is going to get mixed up. His or her is going to get mixed up, and he or she is going to be the Black Panther in the 616. But his name is not T'Challa, though. All right. I forgot the other names of the Black Panthers, but it was like 5 or 6 of them in the comics. All right. Now, what I think is going to happen is that moving forward, though, in the future, I think what's going to happen is whenever they do another Black Panther movie, it's going to be taking place different timeline. So I think what's going to happen is you're going to have a Black Panther movie with the character T'Challa that we know is going to be, let's say the other timeline is the 618. Okay. Well, I tell you what, let's say the other timeline is what, 713. All right. If you're from Texas, let's say 713. Okay. Well, the 713 timeline, you can reboot Black Panther and have a T'Challa right there. That way, now his story probably is not going to, of course, pick up the way where Chadwick Boseman's T'Challa picked up. You know what I'm saying? But it's going to be another telling of it. It's just like you take Spider-Man. We have the universe where you have Tobey Maguire. He did 3 movies. All right. They didn't do a 4th. So what they did, they brought in Andrew Garfield. They did a reboot. They started back over from scratch, got bit by the spider. So we see Andrew Garfield. We see the story of Peter Parker being told again. Then they rebooted again and they started back with Tom Holland. They didn't show how he got bit, but everybody pretty much is aware of that story. He makes an appearance in in Captain America Civil War, pretty much, which is like technically Avengers 3 to me. So they did that. So it's like so you got 3 different timelines of Spider-Man right there. Okay. Same thing. You can look at let's look at Batman. All right. A lot of people are like, well, they recast Batman all this time and all this stuff. Well, here's the thing with that. All right. I'm talking about the Batman the movie. So you have Michael Keaton, who played Batman from 89 and he played in 1992. Now, when he was originally cast, a lot of people are like, man, he's a freaking comedian. Why are they casting him as Bruce Wayne? We can't take him serious, dude. We can't take him serious. But here's what happened, people. Guess what? Michael Keaton did that ish. He did the doggone thing as Bruce Wayne. You know what I'm saying? So what happened was he did a brilliant job in the first 2. But in the third one, once he found out that Tim Burton wasn't coming back, he didn't do it. So what they did was they say the first 2 Batman are canon with the 1995 Batman Forever, which starred Val Kilmer. Val Kilmer is a brilliant actor. And around that time, his name was hot like fire. But big box office draw. Okay. And they brought in Tommy Lee Jones as Two-Face. And they brought in Jim Carrey as the Riddler. Okay, so you have those 2 villains right there in that movie. Okay, but here's the thing. A lot of people are like, man, that's not my Bruce Wayne. I like Val Kilmer, but he doesn't compare to Michael Keaton. All right, so here's what happened. 2 years later, 1997, they do Batman and Robin. All right, good casting. George Clooney, Bruce Wayne. But guess what? Same thing. Hey, you're not Bruce Wayne. You're not Michael Keaton. So they were trying to keep it canon. So what they had to do is you take from 1992, from the last time Michael Keaton did Batman, all the way up to 2004, 2005, when Christian Bale came along. His story is not canon with Michael Keaton, but guess what? They rebooted it, okay? So by them rebooting it, you get to start over, clean slate, retell the story, start from the beginnings of Bruce Wayne. That's why I believe Christian Bale got more accepted than Val Kilmer or George Clooney. Had they did a reboot like with those two, maybe. But see, here's the thing with Black Panther. They're not doing a reboot because there's still more story that they're trying to tell. All right. But eventually they will do one, I believe, because it's Black Panther, popular character. And here's the thing. I keep messing up my wording. They're going to have a Black Panther in the next Black Panther movie. It's not going to be T'Challa. There are other Black Panthers, or they might have somebody new become Black Panther. We don't know. OK, here's the thing. We don't know all of Wakanda. Everybody who say they're experts and comic book experts. Here's the thing. You could be a comic book expert. Hey, no disrespect, but guess what? All the knowledge that you have as a comic book expert, all of it is not applicable to the movie world because they remixing a lot of stuff and telling stuff differently and stuff. Okay, that's just like I'm not a comic book expert, but I'm more of the animated series and shows expert because I grew up watching the shows and stuff like that. And everything in all these shows is not the same like what they did and what they're doing in the movies. And I got no problem with that because you don't want it to be too predictable. All right. So what they could do is they can, I don't know who they're going to have as Black Panther. All right. But I don't want to know this early. I want to see the movie and then know. And that's how we all should want it. Right. Right. Here's another thing. Let's go with Superman. All right. People's like, well, they replaced Superman. You doggone right. Yes, they have been recasting Superman. But guess what? Christopher Reeve. But growing up as a kid, that's who was Superman to me. All right. The real Superman to me was my dad. But I'm talking about the comic book character, Christopher Reeve. So with his character, all right, after he stopped doing Superman movies like in 88, 89 or whatever, okay, there was still talks. They was trying to get another Superman made. But here's the thing. It's hard to cast that role. Like, you take from 87 or 88, whenever they made the last Christopher Reeve Superman movie, that Superman 4 movie, where he fought the sun guy or whatever, and you go all the way to 2006. That's almost 20 freaking years later, dude. Brandon Roth. And guess what? I thought Brandon Roth did an acceptable job. But guess what? Majority of people, oh, that ain't my Clark Kent. That ain't my Superman. You know what I'm saying? I know some of y'all like, well, they did do Lois and Clark. I didn't watch Lois and Clark because the thing about it is it's Superman. I want to see Superman. I don't care about Lois and Clark relationship. I don't want to see that. That wasn't made for me as a kid trying to watch that. That's made for I don't care about what him and Lois Lane do. I want to see Superman kick butt and save people. That's what I wanted to see. But I thought Dean Cain did a decent job based on some of the episodes I seen on it. There's no knock on that. But nobody ever, here's the thing, a show and a movie are two different things. And then when that show came out, it was already presented that this is not canon with Christopher Reeve Superman. And then this is I don't think they used the word reboot back then, but it was kind of like a reboot. We're starting something different with this, okay? But anyways, I didn't want people to think that I forgot about that. I know that show. I'm aware of it, all right? But Brandon Roth got a lot of flack, and they didn't do a sequel because most people, they wasn't receptive of that, even though I thought he did a good job. So then, let me see, 2013, we get Henry Cavill, a rebooted Superman, okay? So almost 30 years then pass. It's like, okay, everybody's on board. Let's do something different. And see, Zack Snyder did something totally different from the Christopher Reeve one. His is a lot more darker and a little bit of edgier. It has that did I say Zac Efron? That Zack Snyder type to it. You know what I'm saying? So it had that Zack Snyder type flavor to it. So that his very, very great, brilliant casting right there. You know what I'm saying? So check this out. Eventually, they're going to recast T'Challa you know what I'm saying? They're going to do a Black Panther with the character T'Challa. I don't think the character T'Challa, they're going to just stop doing that, okay? But understand this, people. A man had died. Chadwick Boseman had died, okay? I could see, and people could, and, for those of you who are saying, hey, well, they replaced Terrence Howard and stuff as War Machine. He was a supporting character. You can, it's easier to replace a supporting character than a primary character, people. It's just it's, God forbid, let's say if Robert Downey Jr. has stopped playing Tony Stark for whatever reason, and why they still had story left, well, they're going to have to figure out a way around that, okay? Recasting him? Oh, no. And I don't care if they went with Tom Cruise. Like, that's Robert Downey Jr. Or why you think it's so hard to recast Wolverine? They want Hugh Jackman back because it's so hard to recast that role. They might as well not even do a Wolverine movie until you figure out the casting on that. Until you get to the point where Hugh Jackman can straight up no longer ever be Wolverine. But as long as there's a slim chance or even no chance, you keep asking Hugh Jackman. All right? But seriously, man, with this movie, with Black Panther, I don't know what Ryan Coogler is going to do or Kevin Feige is going to do. But what I do know is they got a real good track record, a brilliant track record, and I'm not going to stop trusting those guys now. All right? Fruitvale Station, a hit. Creed 1, Creed 2, hits. Black Panther, a hit. All right? Look what Kevin Feige has done, people. I mean, seriously, we're to the point, like 10 years ago, I would have never thought that I would see a Black Panther movie that made $1 billion. You understand what I'm saying? And now they're going to be rebooting Blade and all this, Thor movies and all that stuff. I'm like, no, man, they're not going to put time and effort and energy in that. But look, they doing it and we talking about it now. And I love this, people. But listen, it's okay if they don't recast T'Challa for right now. But what you got to understand is they're not obligated to tell us what their future plans are for next year or 10 years from now. They're not obligated to tell you what's going to happen all in the movie. If they tell you that, what's the point of watching the movie? My kids ask all the time, we're watching the movie I've seen before, but they haven't seen. They're asking me all these questions, and I stop the movie and I say, listen, either we could watch this movie or I can tell you in about 5 minutes what's going to happen and everything in the movie. And then there's no movie. They say, okay, Daddy, I want to watch the movie. All right. So it's like, come on, people, like, let's get it. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. It's okay. And the thing about it is they're not obligated to give us what we want. You know what I'm saying? We're not writing this. We're not directing it. So let's give them a chance. Well, we have no choice but to give them a chance because either you're going to watch the movie or you're not. If you're watching the movie, technically you are giving them a chance or whatever. But, I'm just letting you know, hey, man, it's all good. I think they're going to do a real good job with the movie. I have no reason to doubt them. Now, that doesn't mean that they are perfect. Nothing's perfect except for God, right? And people still question God. Not saying they are gods. They are far from it. But what I'm saying on here is that, I think they're going to do a real good job. And the way I look at it is like, listen, it's very hard to replace Chadwick Boseman, like immediately right now. The man passed, got a lot of friends. He has a lot of friends that's doing this movie and stuff, but yeah, with the whole time travel, I could see if we wasn't in the phase in Marvel with the whole time travel and stuff like that in different timelines. But we're in that phase now, man. I don't even think we even like in the middle of it yet because Spider-Man hasn't been released yet. We're going to find out a lot of stuff about that. The movie 2.5 hours long and stuff. So, I mean, I think they're going to do a real good job. I mean, because for all we know, it might be one of those situations like, let me see what I'm trying to think of. Like if you ever watch, man, it's a show called Spartacus, real good show. You should check it out. If you're a fan of Braveheart, Gladiator, and those type of movies, you're going to love that movie. And the actor who played Spartacus, all right, he died, all right. But, he was sick at first. He finished season 1, did a brilliant job, right? Okay. So when they found out he was sick, they stopped shooting season 2. So they decided to turn season 2 instead of a continuation of season 1 to make it a prequel to season 1 before his character came. So what they did was they did a prequel. Supporting characters had more expanded roles and they added a few more new characters. Great show. Then season 3 comes where they finally continue the story of season 1. Well, you find out that the main character, the guy who played him, he died. They replaced him with another actor. And I'm going to tell you, this actor, he did a good job, phenomenal job. But guess what? No matter how great he did, I couldn't forget about the original, the OG Spartacus. You know what I'm saying? But what they did was his character seemed more like a supporting role, but the characters that you do love, they highlighted them even more. But by a season and a half, me and my wife started to get used to him. I'm like, man, he all right. Then the next season, they ended the show, ended on a real good note, got 4 seasons. Great show. I suggest you check that out. But they dealt with that situation too. I'm not saying that's what Ryan Coogler is going to do, but it's like, it goes to show you, hey man, it is possible to continue the success of a show if you recast the character, but also, hey, it doesn't always work that well, because you still miss the original. Like if you fans of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, hey, Daphne Reed, they recast her as Aunt Viv. The lady who played Aunt Viv, I thought she was way better. But what they did was Daphne Reed, when she played Aunt Viv, they gave her less lines and less screen time. So a lot of times you barely even saw her character. You know what I'm saying? It was almost as if Uncle Phil was a widow. Seriously. But she was still a secondary character because it was the Will Smith, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air show. But it's tough to do that, man. It's tough to do that. Like, I'm a fan of the Mummy movie franchise, the first two. So they recast Brandon Fraser's wife on there. So in the third one, you had a different actress playing her. I wasn't feeling that. And bless her heart, she did a real good job, but she wasn't Rachel Weisz, who was in the first two Mummy movies. You know what I'm saying? Because there's a chemistry that you're seeing. It just, I saw in a tweet somebody mentioned, man, that's just like, by them not recasting the role of T'Challa right now, they're just like retiring a jersey number. Nobody in Chicago is going to wear number 23. Nobody in Houston is going to wear number 34. You understand what I'm saying? Nobody in Boston is going to wear number 33. Nobody in for the Lakers ever is going to wear number 32. Okay? Or number 8 or number 24. Mamba got 2 numbers retired, people. They not. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, Chadwick did an awesome job. Okay? So right now, though, it's not the time to recast him, especially when when they could come up with a creative story, especially with the whole timeline stuff, But I know it's hard to be patient. It's hard to be patient, people. If it wasn't for a pandemic, I think Black Panther would have already been released. But we got a pandemic and all that stuff. Hey, we want to know what's going on with our characters in Wakanda, because it's a lot of story to tell in Wakanda when you think about it. Like, how did they, like, in between that 5-year span, from between Infinity War and Endgame, it's a lot of story to tell right there. Who was running Wakanda, right? Like, how much did they have to rebuild in Wakanda, or how long did it take for them to rebuild after Thanos and his army came down there and just slayed everything in Wakanda? You see that, man? You open up your doors to the whole country and look what happens. Thanos come there. So it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I mean, it's hard to be patient with this stuff, though, man, especially when it's supposed to have been came out in it. And it was supposed to come out in July 2022. Now it's been delayed to November 11th, which is 10 days before my birthday. I'm cool with that. But, man, I can't wait to see that movie. Can't wait to see it. All right. But it's a lot. And think about it. It's a lot of movies and shows that everybody has not seen yet that's going to come out before Black Panther. And by everything being canon, it's going to somehow connect some way in there. And who knows? It might be somebody from Wakanda who's going to be in some of the movies that's coming out before Black Panther. Just like if you watch the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, you had the Dora Milaje tribe popping up in a few episodes on there, So, I mean, they created a whole universe, man, and they all working together. So, but I know it's hard though, man. It's hard, but this, we're on the outside looking in on it, people. So I'm like, how? Like, that's a hard thing to do. And I know they said Ryan Coogler, they talked about it in a matter of minutes, and then they decided, no, we're not gonna be able to recast them right there, but they'll come up with a story. These are creative people, right? They're very, very creative. I'm gonna trust them to do their job. A lot of y'all like to say trust the experts. They are the experts on this. They've been hired to do this. Not me, not you, But it's still cool to come up with our own theories and express our own opinions. And I appreciate Marvel listening to I don't know if they really even listen to our opinions. You know what I'm saying? Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But hey, man, I enjoy discussing this with y'all for real. Like, I really do. Whether if you agree with me or not. Because I think a lot of times the more interesting discussions come when you do disagree. Because it's like, I'll hear your side and you hear my side. All right. But I'm through talking for right now. Thank y'all for tuning in. Hit the like and subscribe button if you like the content that you're receiving. Comment and share your thoughts below on what do you think, or what's your theory on how they should do Black Panther 2, Wakanda. Knocked over my mic. Wakanda forever. You know what I'm saying? Thank y'all for tuning in. Student of the Game podcast. Peace out.